Hey, BA fam, I just learned Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. Whoop, whoop, that's right. Everything you earned doubled. All the cash back from eating at your favorite soup dumpling restaurant doubled. All the cash back from that trip where you sort of learned to snowboard also doubled. And the best part, you don't have to do anything ridiculous to get it. Nope. Discover does it automatically. We love that. Seriously though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
Hey, VA fam, it's time for the VAQA, the VAQA, with VAQA, with Mandi all by herself. And y'all know how awkward I feel singing that song. So I had to bring a friend today because I don't want to be alone in the studio. While Tiffany is living her best life in Egypt, I am here with y'all for this week's BA Q&A. And I am joined by one of our BA fam, one of our BA listeners, Yacine, who is not that far away from me. We're actually both in New York. She's calling in from the BX. Hey, Yacine, welcome to Brown Ambition.
Hi, thank you. Happy to be here.
So excited to have you. The melanin is popping, the teeth, like everything is just like, wow. You should do Colgate commercials is what I'm saying. But that's not why you're here today. So let's take a listen to your question. I love this question. It's one that actually I have gotten a lot from people who had their annual reviews in 2020, at the beginning of 2023. And were just a little underwhelmed by what happened in terms of their pay. So let's take a listen to Yacine's question.
So I started recently at a financial firm. It's a big one, so I don't want to say the name just in case. But it's been almost 9-10 months, and we just went over our end of year review and everything, and they were handing out bonuses, raises, and promotions. I did not expect a promotion or I was happy that I got a bonus, but I did kind of expect a raise just because it's been almost a year that I've been there and inflation is crazy. So I wanted to know, am I being kind of a little extra for expecting something, or is there something that I can say or do that would kind of have me be able to revisit the conversation with my manager?
Okay, Yacine. So paint the picture for me. You've been at this job for a little less than a year now, right? Okay. And where are you at in your career? Like early career, mid?
I just started, so 3 years in, but this is my third job. So.
Because, black don't crack. So you can either be 22 or 62. And I would just want to be clear on that. Okay. So you're very young, early in your career. Okay. So you've been there less than a year. It's totally not uncommon to get a so-so raise when you're newer to the company, especially when you've been there less than a year. And you're not working for a small company. This is a big bank, you said, right? A big bank during challenging economic times, they're gonna be very stingy with their budget for compensation, increases, adjustments, bonuses, all that stuff. So it's not shocking to me that you didn't get a significant raise. Can I ask, did you get the standard annual increase? And if so, how much was it?
So I didn't get a raise at all. I got a bonus, and I was surprised that I did get the bonus, but I was hoping for a raise as well because inflation has been a little crazy. So I was hoping that at least they would kind of raise my my salary so it will match inflation. But I guess that was the crazy part for me.
Are your friends here's a tiny violin for you? You got a bonus, but not a raise?
Yes. They're like, okay, girl, you need to calm down. At least you got something.
No, that is true. We want to be grateful for that, but I don't believe in playing small. I think what you could do in this situation. So you got a bonus. What was the percentage of your pay that your bonus was? Was it 10%, 5%?
It was a little under 10%. I think it was 8%.
That's really freaking dope, dude. That's pretty great. And here's what I'll say. Here's why they'd prefer to do a bonus over a raise, because a bonus for them is a one-time hit to their budget, right? And whereas giving you that 10% annual raise, they're promising to do that for the next forever, as long as you're there, right? So, and you work for a bank, so you probably understand this is just going to hit the books a little bit differently. I think that bonus says a lot about probably the quality of the work that you're doing, the fact that they want you to be happy and stick around. I'd almost even call that like a baby retention bonus. Like we can't give you a raise, but here's some money. Like, just be happy for now. But I wouldn't necessarily say you have to take that money and be silent about it. I think you can absolutely, even though it's been how long since you had the initial like conversation with your manager?
So we had our conversation in December, right before we left for the holidays. And she wasn't sure that I was going to get the bonus, actually, because in my contract, it's not a given. It's something that's, I forget the word. There's a specific word for it. I forgot it. It's by their discretion, I guess, by my manager's
discretionary.
discretion.
Oh,
yes,
yeah, 100%.
A discretionary bonus. That's
it doesn't
the word.
exist unless they decide it exists.
Exactly.
Got it, yeah.
So she wasn't even sure if I was going to get the bonus. So I was happy. That's why I was like, I'm so happy, and I'm still grateful that I did get the bonus. I was a little, let down that I didn't get a raise, because a lot of my friends who are also in the same industry did get a raise to match with inflation, and also a bonus. So I'm just like, maybe I'm asking for too much.
No, I don't think you're asking for too much. I mean, you've been there less than a year. So in terms of like, you're in a lot better position than someone who got hired 5 years ago at that company, because like their pay that they started at, with inflation, it's eating and eating and eating away at that. Your pay is on a newer level. Like, you are getting paid in $2022, So I wouldn't feel as much urgency around like, oh, I could be making a lot more and like inflation's eating up my money. That being said, it sounds like even with your manager, there wasn't a lot of clarity around how compensation would happen and compensation rewards. So in this case, and I actually think I have, I came up with a 4 scripts that workers can use in December. I published it. It's called Ultimate Year-End Review Scripts, but really they're 4 scripts that anyone can use to open a dialogue with their managers when they want to talk about compensation. Like, you're underpaid, you're given a bunch more responsibilities, you want more money, or in your case, you just want to understand like, how do y'all decide like what goes into these decisions? But what I would say is, why not have a conversation with your manager and say, I'm super grateful that the bonus came through. That's awesome. But I'm curious what the company's, process or policy around annual raises is, because I was surprised to not have received any pay raise. You can say surprised. You can say I was a little concerned or a little disappointed. Make it clear that you're grateful for the raise and all of that. But you're really asking just to be so that you can get more transparency and insight into what went into that decision. And I wouldn't be surprised if what you hear from her is like, I don't know, Yacine. I didn't get a raise either. I don't know. But like, that just means that maybe then it's a question for her manager, or maybe it's a question for HR. Like, I think sometimes we assume that our managers are going to be like the badasses and they can get answers for us and all of that. But sometimes they're just one of many, many in the long line of like, chain of command, and they may not feel confident asking those questions. But if you push and you advocate for yourself, it's more likely you'll get those answers. And if she ends up being a dead end, you could go to an HR. Do you have like an HR business partner? You could go to them for sure and ask for some clarity.
I wanted to ask, I guess, a side question. It's the same thing. But when it comes to having this conversation, should I wait till my mid-year review, which is in like about 2-3 months? Or should I just have that conversation now?
I wouldn't wait. I mean, at this point, so you and I are talking in early March. You guys had your annual review in December. I wouldn't wait, because I would rather you go into the mid-year review understanding better, like what your chances are of getting a raise. Even maybe she might even tell you, well, for people who didn't get a bump at the end of this year, then we're considering that for, mid-year. And then it kind of gives you peace of mind. I feel like you have more to gain by asking now than to lose. If you phrase it in the right way, like, I've been giving it more thought. I know it's been a couple of months since we, talked about the annual review and compensation changes. The bonus was unexpected, and I'm very excited about that. But since I wasn't given a raise, do you think it'll be possible to revisit that at the mid-year point? Could be another way for you to ask about it versus like just what I recommended earlier, which was, do you have any idea like what goes into those decisions about who does and doesn't get a raise, and what can I expect moving forward? Now you have the fact that I know that you have a mid-year review coming up. You can literally say like, could we revisit that at the mid-year? Don't talk about inflation though.
that was my whole argument, but yeah.
Yeah, no. Don't talk about inflation. Talk about the quality of your work. You've been there a year, a little less than a year. Just the bonus itself, unless they're just giving money to anybody out there, the bonus itself tells me that you're good at your job and they value you. Would you agree?
I would like to think so. Yes.
Yeah. So you can say that bonus clearly tells me that I'm making an impact. I'm being valued. That's really exciting for me. And make it clear that you're asking because you want to understand that you're valued and what that will look like in the form of a raise instead of just the one-time bonus. All right, BA fam, you are listening to the BA QA. We are going to take a quick break and be right back with more of your questions and our answers. Hey, BA fam, when I was looking for a new home for MandiMoney.com, I looked no further than Squarespace. With Squarespace, it's everything you need to sell anything. Squarespace website building platform has the tools you need to get your business off the ground. They've got e-commerce templates. They let you track your inventory, a simple checkout process, and secure payments. Whatever you sell, they've got merchandising features to make your products look their best online. And for me, with career coaching, I was able to connect with my audience and generate revenue by using their gated members only content capabilities. I can manage my members, I could send them their personal email communications, and get audience insights all on one easy to use platform. So head to squarespace.com/brownambition for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code BROWNAMBITION to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/brownambition, offer code BROWNAMBITION.
If you own a small business, you know the value of time. GetRefunds.com does too. That's why we've made it easy, no matter how busy you are, to apply for the Employee Retention Credit or ERC. Go to GetRefunds.com to get started, and in less than 8 minutes, see if your business qualifies for ERC assistance. Your business may be eligible for a payroll tax refund up to $26,000 per employee kept on payroll during COVID-19. GetRefunds.com has already helped claim over $3 billion in payroll tax refunds through the ERC, and they may be able to help your business too. There's no upfront charge either. They don't get paid until your business gets its refund. Many businesses believe they won't qualify based off incomplete or outdated information. So don't let this opportunity pass you by, because this payroll tax refund is only available for a limited time. Go to GetRefunds.com. That's GetRefunds.com. GetRefunds.com.
Hey, BA fam, I just learned Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. Whoop, whoop, that's right. Everything you earned doubled. All the cash back from eating at your favorite soup dumpling restaurant doubled. All the cash back from that trip where you sort of learned to snowboard also doubled. And the best part, you don't have to do anything ridiculous to get it. Nope. Discover does it automatically. We love that. Seriously though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
This episode is brought to you by Circle. What is Circle? First of all, it's a beautiful shape. It's consistent, inclusive, but it's also a place to build USDC, a digital dollar that's actually dollar-backed one-to-one. At Circle, they're building a future where money will travel at the speed of the internet for fractions of a penny. It's the place where crypto meets stability, where local businesses meet global customers, and the US dollar meets USDC. Visit circle.com/Spotify.
Okay, BA fam, we are back answering more of your questions for the BA QA. Let's go. The reason you don't want to mention inflation is because companies, everyone's going through inflation, right? And I'm sure that they have, I'm almost like positive that this big bank had a talk with the board, all the senior leaders, head of compensation, HR, all of them, and they decided, in light of inflation, how are we going to do raises this year, and in light of the economy and all of that. And they made the choice that they made, and that's not going to change just for one person. When it comes to like standard raises, if you feel like you warrant a merit-based pay increase, then you need to make that case based on what you believe, what the merit is. Like, what have you done to deserve more? And so going into this conversation with your manager, you might want to take some time and, just look at your highlight reel from 2022. And maybe you already have that. Like, did you put that together for your
for the end of year
review?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you can mention that. And again, reiterate the bonus was nice, but I'm also interested in what type of merit-based salary increase I can expect, especially heading into the mid-year review point, given my performance, this past, at that point, it'll be a year and a half-ish.
Yes.
Something like that.
Almost, yeah.
Because merit-based is just, that's like something that they can, push for, not just like, well, Yacine's got inflation going on, like, so does everybody else. And then like at this point, you're early in your career, like getting in that habit of being able to articulate your impact and articulate, what your performance, like what the value is that you brought to your team is such a good skill to learn. And it may feel like how scale of 1 to 10, like how nervous are you maybe going into this conversation that I'm recommending?
Like a 6.
A 6, okay, not bad. Yeah. Like,
wait, nervous is at the 10 or at the 1?
Nervous is a 10.
Okay, yeah, like a 6.
Okay. So you're nervous-ish, right? Like, it will get easier the more often you give yourself practice advocating for yourself. So that's why I'm like, go ahead and have the conversation now. And also think about, from your manager's perspective, even though your review is in June, is it June?
Yes, it should be, yes.
They may start having conversations around budgets for raises and bonuses in April and May, so if you get in there now and she knows that Yacine would really like a little pay bump, maybe she'll be able to think about that, as she heads into those compensation conversations heading into the mid-year point.
I can't wait to try. I'm still nervous, but I can't wait.
Nervous is good. I mean, it really is. Like you said, you've only been in this job. Well, you've been working professionally for a few years now?
Yeah, 3 years. I've kind of been a part of that whole millennial, like, job hopping thing. Where it's
like, still a millennial? You graduated 3 years ago?
About
I don't know
3,
what the
4
rules
years
are.
ago. I don't know what the rules are. I don't think I'm Gen
millennial.
Z. I know I'm not Gen Z. I think I'm a
You're like
little.
my cousin. She's like, I call her a Zoomer because she's got like boomer tendencies, but a Gen Z birth date. Anyway.
Wait, I'm in
fine. You can join us in the millennial club.
Okay, I guess I was born in the 90s, but like late 90s. So I'm a 90s baby, not a 90s kid, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm an 80s baby, not an 80s kid. Yeah, same, late 80s.
Yeah, so we're on the same page. We understand. But yeah, so I'm a part of that, I had a job and it was great. And then I saw another job and they were paying more. So I left that job and went to that job. And that's how I kind of raised my salary. For the past 3 years, I stayed at a job for almost a year or so. And then after that, I would like transition into something different. Started off in nonprofit. It was great. The money's not that great, but helping people is great. Then I transitioned to sales and that was great. But it was all about like the numbers all the time. So I transitioned into marketing and I love it here. So that's why I'm like this whole thing about like asking for a raise. It's kind of like the first time I'm kind of doing this because it's usually I'll just leave a job and they'll give me more money at the next job.
Which I talk all about quitting your way rich and how quitting was a key strategy for me too. No, I'm not kidding. Like I quit 6 times in 10 years, but when you really enjoy a workplace and you like to work there and you're making an impact, it can be really rewarding to stick around and grow in that role. And of course, I am of the opinion that like job hopping ultimately, it doesn't have to be like super detrimental as long as you maintain your networks. You have a good reason for leaving, and I can already hear you. Like you've tried different industries, different types of places, and you're figuring out what works for you. And it wasn't nonprofit, and it wasn't sales, and like you can tell that to an interviewer, and they're gonna get it. Like they're gonna understand. And the more clarity you get, like the less likely you will be to leave as frequently because you're gonna be. Right? Like your bar is going to be higher for your next role and you're going to be more selective. And yeah, you will get to a point where I like it here,
I do.
Which is great. And then in that case, then it's about building those relationships, continuing to advocate for yourself. And what was key for me is what I told you about is understanding like how the hell the sausage gets made. Like how do these compensation decisions happen? And I realized that you can ask. And maybe the answer is we don't know, but that's kind of an answer. Like, oh, it's a little vague and ambiguous. So maybe I should just ask for whatever the hell I want, because there's no rules around here.
I'm a firm believer of closed mouths don't get fed. Yeah. So I like advocating is something that I like to do for myself and others, but I just didn't know the right way to go about it. That's why I was like, let me ask you guys, because you guys are kind of the expert.
If I had your teeth, I'd be like smiling and talking, open my mouth all the time. Everybody listen to me.
You have a gorgeous smile.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, absolutely. Closed mouths don't get fed. And again, it's all about like practicing, asking those questions, having those conversations, and I think, if you're aiming to be a leader yourself one day or manage a team, remember what this lack of clarity, how it made you feel. And like, that will help you be a better and more effective manager down the line as well. So this is all great experience for the first 3 years, just after graduating college. So kudos to you. You're kind of killing it.
Thank you. I'm trying.
Well, thank you, Yacine. Thank you so much for submitting your question. Ooh, I didn't remind y'all. How can you be like Yacine and be in the virtual studio with us at Brown Ambition? You can head to our IG page. We are at Brown Ambition Podcast, and submit a voice note. So you got 60 seconds to tell us your question, submit it, and you may get a fun email or DM. I don't know how it happened. Someone contacted you from Team Brown Ambition and got you in the studio. So submit your questions, y'all. We would love to hear from you. And I just want to say thank you again for all the love. And to Yacine, my Bronx sister, thank you for joining me today. And I hope that y'all have a great week.